No students ever like solving questions on subtraction of number bases, but they forgot it is very simple. So let's get started. The question says 4, 6, 1, 0 in base 8 minus 2, 6, 7, 5 in same base 8. Now the condition for subtraction in bases is they must have equal base, and that is true because we already have that right here. And the second condition is this: whenever you borrow the base. So let's see how to go about this. Then we have 0 minus 5. 0 minus 5 is impossible, right? Which means we need to borrow from this other value 1, and this 1 becomes 0. And don't forget that what we borrow is the base, right? We are borrowing 1, but 1 is actually the base, and that's 8. So now we have this over here. So we have 8 plus 0, which is 8, then minus 5 is 3. So 3 is the result over here. Still working on base 8. Now we see the next part right here. 0 minus 7. That's impossible. So we need to borrow, right? So let's go. We borrow from this other value. 6 becomes 5. And this borrowing is 8. What we borrow is 8, right? So now we have this value. 8 plus 0, which is still 8, then minus 7, that's 1. So we have our 1 right here. And then we go for the next, which is 5 minus 6. And this is impossible, right? So we go to borrow from 4. And we have this to be 3. Why this is 8 over here. So we have 8. And we now have this to be 8 plus 5, that is 13. So we now minus 6, and that gives us, guess the answer, 7. Good. So we have 7 right here. And the last part is 3 minus 2, which is 1. And this is the final result. And let's check the results from the options given. 1713 base 8. And as you can see, tell me the results. What's that? Good. It's option A. Very easy. Here comes another question. It says, what is the result of subtracting 14256 base 7 from 20045? And at this point, we need to figure out the larger value, which is 20045. Then we write that here. 20045 minus, starting from the back, 5, 2, 4, 1. And both values are in base 7. The same principle applies. Both values must be in same base for subtraction to occur. And the second thing is we want to do the subtraction. So anytime you do the subtraction, if it's impossible, then you borrow like regular way. And this is now the case. When you are borrowing the base. So any single value you borrow, you are borrowing the base. So for this case, whatever value we borrow, we are borrowing 7, which is the base. So now let's go. We have 5 minus 6. This is impossible, right? So we need to borrow from the next value. So this becomes 3, and this becomes 7. So checking out this, we have this over here. So we have 7 plus 5, and that is 12, right? Then minus 6, So that's giving us 6 in base 7. And the next is over here, 3 minus 5. That's impossible, right? So we go for the next value. We want to borrow from 0, which is impossible. We go to the next value again to borrow. That's impossible. Then we go back to this next value, which is very possible. So let's borrow right here. 2 here, borrowing, we have 1 remaining. And since we are working in base 7, this would become 7. But of course, this is our destination. So we need to borrow again. Borrow from 7, that becomes 6. And this part, 7 again. Borrow from 7, that becomes 6. And this part, 7. So let's see. We have these results. 7 plus 3, that's 10, right? Then minus 5 is 5. So 5 is right here. And don't forget that we have already gotten this other one. So let's see this here. Don't forget, this 7 has been borrowed, so we are not focusing on that. So what we have now is we have 6 minus 2. That's 4 right there. Very cheap, right? Since we've already done that in the borrowing process. And next we have this 6 minus 4, which is 2, right? So we have 2. And the last part, we have 1 minus 1, which is 0. So we can decide to leave it just this way. And the result here is 2, 4, 5, 6 base 7. And 2, 4, 5, 6 base 7 is corresponding to option C. This is another beautiful question. It says, the subtraction below is in base 7. So take note. Find the missing number. So we have 5, 1, 6, 2 in base 7, and 2, 6, 4, 4 in base 7. So let's just start all over and see the process. Remember again, there are 2 conditions for subtraction of bases. The base must be the same, and whenever you are borrowing the base. So in this case, we are working on base 7. So whatever we borrow will always become 7. So let's see the first part. 2 minus 4 is impossible, so we have to borrow from the next value, which is 6 there. So this borrowing becomes 5, and since we are borrowing the base, so that's become 7. Now let's see what we have right here. 7 plus 2 is 9, then minus 4, that's 5. So we have 5 right here in base 7. And checking the other one, we have 5 minus 4. That's possible, so we have 1. And the next is 1 minus 6. That's impossible, which means we need to borrow from the other value, from 5. We borrow from 5, so let's go. So 5 reduced to 4. And don't forget we are borrowing the base, so which is 7. I'm borrowing 7. Now let's see this. We have 7 plus 1, which is 8. Then minus 6, which is 2. And lastly, we have this. 4 minus 2, which is 2. And we can see that the value right here is 2, 1, and 5. And the missing number, guess that? That's good. The missing number is 2.
Don't forget to like, share, and follow. See you in the next class.